attendance, we'll go ahead and say for the record, all 5 council members are here. We've got Mr. Farley here, we got Mrs. Teal here, and then Mr. Jellison is in the audience with us again this evening as well. So these are something that we're supposed to do at least quarterly, and haven't been done since I've been on the council, coming up on 2 years here. But I think it's important that we have these regularly, and you know, as issues come up with our building and zoning, you know, if we can make something easier for a citizen, by all means we should. And if something was not, if an unforeseen issue has arisen that needs and requires a modification the other way, we should do that too. So I don't have off the top of my head any major considerations. I know Andy has several suggestions based off of his time as building commissioner over the last several years, so I'd be happy to hear them.
I've got 3 things that arise, and I'll start with the first one, which is our sign ordinance. So the easiest way to explain it, if you got approval for a billboard, wherever it goes, and it was approved and you constructed the billboard, the way our ordinance is currently written, and it's been an issue, is every time you change that billboard, not reconstruct it, but change the sign that's on it, you're supposed to get a new permit. And I personally would like to eliminate that. I mean, once you get a permit to erect a billboard.
So if someone says Jim's Tire Service and they change it to Bill's Engine Service, you gotta get it.
You gotta go through the whole permit process again, and
as long as they're not changing the.
Well, if the size, location, and everything staying the same,
it shouldn't be.
And you know, as long as we're not trying to change the compliance of it, I don't see what it matters. You know, I mean, technically, the way it's written, someone could have a sign on there forever, and let's say it gets all sun faded and needs replaced, then you gotta get a new permit. And I think once you get that, it should be good as long as it's staying that same size, same location.
Is that something this commission does, or is that a board action?
No, the planning commission takes action on it and it gets forwarded to the council. I know it's weird because council's on the planning commission, but that's how it goes. My other one is sheds. It's been a big one. We've had several people over the last few years have to apply for variances. And I think in our ordinance now, if a mini barn on a non-permanent foundation is 144 square feet or less, you don't need a permit. So, you know, you pick your size, 8 by 10, 12 by 12, whatever, 10 by 12. But our current ordinance states that the rear property line setback is 15 feet. And I think if it's not on a permanent foundation, it's 144 square feet or less, I'd like that to be reduced to 5. Most of the people that have sought a variance have sought to reduce it to 5. The side yard setback is 5 feet. So especially on something like that, a small shed, they want to put it in the corner of their yard. I mean, I think it's reasonable to be 5 and 5. And you know, if something arose, I don't know what would arise, but if it needed to be moved for some unforeseen reason, it's not a permanent structure.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one that a lot of people have, you know, sought variances for. I know Kevin just here in the last month had a couple. And I've talked to a few other people that have moved into new homes out here, and I think the same thing is getting ready to reoccur possibly with that rear setback on a mini barn. And the last thing I have, it doesn't come up a lot, but I think it's worth changing. Our current ordinance, you know, like a picket fence in front of somebody's house, front yard picket fence, or most of them are pickets that people want to put up, but it could be, I guess it could be chain link, but most of the time our current ordinance is 36 inches. Almost all pre-assembled fence panels these days, Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, the industry standard is 42 inches. And I know there has been people that have cut them in the past, but I would just kind of like to, you know, I mean, this 36 inches was put into effect 20 years ago when they were 36. And as the industry's changed, I don't, you know, I just think it would be better for us to change that 6 inches to 42 rather than deal with
No
all
higher
these.
than 42, but you can
Yeah.
go, you can go lower.
You could go less if somebody wanted to be. They want to
If
be
they
a
want
foot.
36 inch, then.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but 42 being the maximum height. Those are three things that
I don't have any issues with any of those 3 changes. I mean, they all seem to benefit the people in town more than, you know, anything else, save them from having to go through an extra step.
Yeah, I think it was streamlined. I mean, I don't feel like any of them were unreasonable.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. The shed one I feel bad because people are always like 15 feet.
On a small shed, it's kind of nice to have it in the corner.
Yeah,
I mean, tucked in.
and that's what most of the people want to do that do change them. You know, I had one person come the other day, and luckily they're going to be getting one, but it doesn't where they particularly want theirs. That will come into play, but it does come up a lot. And some people don't want to go through the variance process and have just complied and kind of put it in an odd place in their yard. You know, because it's $100 to get a residential variance. So I think on those small buildings, I think it's excessive.
I don't have a problem with any of it. I think it's all reasonable, and, you know, it's to the benefit of the residents in town. Try to save a few bucks or something.
We
It's
need
ought
to
to
do
be.
this in a motion form and a second and all that.
Yeah, because then it will have to
On
go.
record.
Well, that too, but then it'll have to go to the council because at some point, I mean, those ordinances that those are covered under in our book will have to be amended.
How's our ordinance on those written, Murray? Is they simple enough that we could just change some language in there instead of having the attorney rewrite it?
Yeah, I don't know if we need an ordinance to specifically, I imagine that's how it would go, is just a simple ordinance stating which language to change within this section. So for example, under fencing here, where it's talking about the height of the fence, is section 721 of our zoning ordinance, where it says no greater than 6 feet in height per side yard and rear yard, or greater than 3 feet in height in the front yard. So that'd be FN 01 subsection C. We would just change the language in that.
Have one sentence there to go from 36 to 40.
And I know it may be nice to do it before, but we're due for American Legal Publishing to update us. We've got a lot of ordinances that
Very
have,
far behind.
yeah.
Very far behind.
Which I know it's expensive, and we're only doing it every like 2 years, but
I think it's been.
yeah,
It's
it's-
been more
been
than that.
it's
a lot
6 at
more.
least.
5 or 6,
yeah.
yeah, it's fallen way behind that. Oh, I got one other I forgot about, and you know, I don't know if it's going to happen or not happen at this point. He has been approved. Mobile Home Park has gone through all of this process for approval for expansion, but I don't know if he's going to do it or not. Money wise, he's got all his stuff from the state. He got all his drainage taken care of for the county. I would like to change the permit fee, which I guess that may even almost be a council issue, since you guys would set the fees, but it does pertain to building in our ordinances. I'd like to make that for a mobile home $100. So right now, it's the same cost as building a home. And on a mobile home, there's 2 inspections. The pads and the anchors, which I do as one, and then the electrical hookup. You know, I mean, it's different. I mean, they're all inspected at the factory. They get their electrical, their plumbing, everything. And as long as it knows, for us, we can't, by law, we can't make him change anything in that house if it was built after 1973. I mean, it's federal law as far as manufactured housing goes. They're all inspected at the factory. And I've always, even though I've charged them this, I've always felt like it's excessive. I mean, they're building, almost charging them the same price for one of these houses at the subdivision as, if they bring a small mobile home in, And some of the ones that have been brought in over the years, I mean, they're small, they're, 1,200 square feet or less.
So what's the fee set at? Is there a basic fee plus square footage?
Yes, I have to.
Like just a ballpark figure on the trailer?
Yeah, it's $600 plus I think it's 8 cents a square foot. I can't. Yeah, well, it's $600. Yep, it's $600 plus 8 cents a square foot.
Basic on any permitting, be trailer or home, right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it was going on a permanent foundation, I know you may want to consider that different. I mean, if it was being put, excuse me, out in town, but specifically, I think we need language in here for the mobile home park itself, And I don't know if, it almost sounds like he's not gonna expand it this time. I know he's talking about selling it. I don't know what he's gonna do. But I mean, the real likelihood at some point is that it's gonna get expanded, and I think it was approved for 38 more lots. Was the deal. But, our electrical permit is, $50. And then, I was thinking basically the same $50 for, the anchoring and pier inspection. Because they don't dig, it's, all those laws have changed on that. It's considered, I can't remember the exact language, but like at the mobile home park, they don't have to dig footers and all that stuff. They've got approved pads. They consider it almost like a temporary foundation. It's not considered a permanent foundation in a mobile home park in Indiana. So, and I guess I'll let you guys decide what the fee would be, but I think the same as, like one of these houses at the subdivision is a little excessive, and
I've nowhere near the inspections on the trailer, basically.
I mean, it could be, for me, when they do it right, it's one trip. They've got their wiring ready, but it's not turned on yet, and the anchors and stuff are all set, and before they put the skirt, because I usually go before they put the skirting on. So it's like one trip, really. Sometimes two, but usually one.
How's the water and sewer done, being that that's on private property, and now you have to do that? We just charge them the availability and the capacity fee.
Yep.
And there's no taps and tap fees on our part whatsoever.
No. Well, just like, even on a new home now, if they're, the way our new ordinance is, if we're not doing the tap, there's no tap fee. It's all capacity fee. Unless and then the town, which, that's a whole other issue. We need to come up with a fee schedule. We have one, but it's never been passed in ordinance form. I mean, like backhoe so much an hour, dump truck so much an hour, But yeah, he'll pay. It's in that rate ordinance. I mean, I think it's one for a mobile home. I think it's the same as a house on the capacity fee, but it's got that ECU rating thing
For the number of
hookups.
dwellings you're putting in, or
yeah, it's it would be per unit.
So it'd be all as one. If he's putting in 38, it'd be on that scale
38
for
times
38,
whatever that scale
says.
Yeah.
Versus individually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he would have his, as they put it all in, pay all the availability fee for that.
I don't have a problem with reducing that inspection fee down as far as the pad and the anchors and the electrical, since it's only a one run, and we need to put some language in there, like Andy's saying, if they would happen to want to put a permanent foundation under it, then it would be additional cost. Would be
At that point, is it still considered a mobile home, or would it be?
No, that's why I'm saying I would leave it, because if you're putting like a double wide out here in town, like if I put one across the street from my house on that lot, it'd be the same fee as a house.
Yeah.
I'm just specifically wanting to do something to
Where the park itself.
address the mobile home park itself, because we have no language in our.
Is there any language in there in mobile home park permitted section that would not allow them to put a permanent foundation if somebody wanted to put a brick it up or whatever instead of underskirting?
I
Maybe we need to
I don't
address that
think
part of
that
the
is,
ordinance
but I
too,
don't-
not allow
So-
it.
I don't know why they
I've
would.
never seen this, but 151.32 adopts by reference the Town of Atlanta Mobile Home Park Ordinance.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is. I've never seen it. It's not in this book.
Right.
So somewhere
It was, well,
in
no,
our
it was,
history,
I don't think it was ever,
or was it never created?
I don't think it was ever created
Okay.
when that was done. I mean, I think there was a spot made for it in there, but nothing was ever done on it. So, I mean,
So this is something we can add to it.
But the fees, this,
yeah, I'm bringing it
Yeah,
up.
that's
Really,
what
the
we're
council
talking
would
about.
decide the fee.
so
I mean, if there was language specific to the book that you wanted to add it for the mobile home park, the planning commission would deal with that. I mean, requirements, things. Because, like, something, I can tell you, you know, something that's missing out of there now that we have out here in the rest of town, like a landscape standard. You know, every home you put in, it's gotta have a tree or 2 bushes or, you know, something. Because there's nothing, our landscape standard, I don't know, I'd have to refresh myself, but I'm not sure that there's anything listed for mobile home park for, you know, landscape standards or,
I don't think it would, because those are all under the different residential standards, right? The different lot size.
it's not though, mobile home park's different, it's one lot.
Right.
Yeah, there's
That's
nothing
what I'm
in
saying,
there.
those landscape ones.
Yeah, right.
are on
So that's what I'm saying,
R3,
if you
R4.
want to make some specific points, you know, that section would be the place to put them, or saying they had, you know, minimum 2 parking, 2-car driveway, or 2 parking spots per unit, or, you know, something like that. Which I think that's what his plan has, but it may be something, you know, good to add.
Yeah, that would be parking, it definitely, if there's nothing in there for the trailer park, to have each trailer that's installed,
Okay,
have to
there's
have 2, drive for 2 cars.
yeah.
That right there on, I don't know what street that is, where they're out on the road, Monroe, right there on the corner. I don't know if you guys have been by there, but they're
Yes.
parking an angle
Oh,
on the
yeah.
back of the cars halfway out in the street.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah,
That
yeah, we
was
try,
good.
try it when you plow. I love it because they try this little angle park scam or nose in first thing, and there's like 3 or 4 feet of the car
We
hanging
do,
out in the
we
street.
do have an ordinance about proper parking procedure being parallel with flow of traffic and all that stuff.
Yeah, these guys, that trailer there on the corner, they've been parking that angle. I went by there the other day and they were way out in the street. I had to go over in the other lane to get around there and you couldn't see
Yeah.
stop sign because of the way they were parked even. It was crazy.
So we do have specifically listed under residential MP, which is mobile home park district, and there are some specifics on that, but I don't think it has landscaping. Let's see. Let me see what the landscaping things are right now.
I don't think there is anything specific to the mobile home park under the landscape standards. But I can't remember.
It alludes to here, additional standards that apply landscaping, LSO 1, LSO 2, and LSO 3.
Does it say they apply?
Yes,
No.
which is interesting.
What type of landscaping do they call for? You couldn't really get much in there and then back in trailers in if you put in back a tree or anything. They're trying to
You ain't gonna get it out of there.
get it in, get it out.
But, I wonder if this applies to the total park rather than,
Per lot.
because
Lot.
NP is specifically referring to the park as an entire.
Right.
So kind of like landscape at the entrance mean or something like that. And entrance to the park, maybe.
Minimum lot size, 5 acres. Minimum dwelling size. Yeah, so I think this is referring to the entire property.
Is a mobile home park, are they required to have a shed outside?
A shed?
A shed?
No.
No?
No.
I think some of that ought to be changed. All these rental properties around here that people don't have any place to put anything. It looks pretty trashy just sitting out. And,
Most of them down there do. Not all of them,
no,
but a lot of them currently
yeah,
have.
yeah, I don't notice it so much. I thought if it was the same at the park,
You know,
it ought
there's-
to be for the other places too.
What's funny is the state requirements on a mobile home park are a lot stricter than our own. I mean, as far as things outside, you can't have firewood stacked outside, you can't, the trash containers have to be tight lid. It says something about flies, but you can't have any trash out in bags, you can't have tires out there, the list is long. And I know they've come and previous owner, they've cited them before, but I was kind of surprised because he stopped here, he saw me and stopped here, and it's been 5-6 years ago now, but gave me this, they had this, this checklist thing, and all the things that were listed.
Yeah, I walked that property down there too with one of the state inspectors, and they were, like, he was paying attention to, I mean, something had water standing in it this deep, he was flipping.
See, the guy that owns it, gotta give him credit from the previous owner.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
Cleaned that up
It's
a
quite a bit
lot
cleaner.
since last.
For sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he does stay.
Used to have a trailer park.
Used to be,
Yes.
This guy
Didn't she
bought
live down in Florida or something and very rarely came up here and?
I don't know.
No, she was a teacher.
yeah.
And then she
She
sold it
lived
when
out
she
on
retired.
31.
Keep something down there.
She used to live out on 31, close to 38.
Okay, so we'll review the mobile home park ordinance and we'll look at our fee schedule as a council and we'll try to, that needs to be updated anyway, I think, so. Try to figure that out. Is there anything that you come across that you think that we need that we don't have?
I don't know. Not yet. We've previously addressed some of those things. I mean, carports used to be one, but that was addressed. I mean, most things are covered in there. It's just, a few things that need tweaked, I think.
So the three things we need to address are the fence, signs, and setbacks on mini barns.
Main barn, 144 square feet or less, not on a permanent foundation.
So let me look up the side ordinance here and see what section we would be.
You were talking about fences, out of curiosity, if you wanna put a fence up between you and your neighbor's borderline,
Yep.
how far over do I have to go over on my side to put a fence up?
You don't. Here's the thing I tell people. Some people it bothers, some people it doesn't. When you build a fence on the property line, your neighbor can attach to it. So, if you don't want someone to attach to your fence or mess with your fence, I tell people just put it a few inches off, but
So
under
it don't
any,
have to be a certain.
nope, under any, you gotta be 2 feet off an alley under our ordinance, but between you and a neighbor, in Indiana law, it can be on the line.
If you put it back from the line, are you responsible for that 6 inches of mowing on the other side?
Yeah, spray it with Roundup, what I do.
All right.
Or set it back wide enough
Mulch it
for
out.
one push mower
There you
length
go.
to go.
That's what I did. Mine's about 4 feet off, but
Do what most people do, and it's out of sight, out of mind on the other side of that fence, it grows up trees and weeds.
I tell you, the funny story, my grandmother had a picket fence around her whole yard. It was on the property line. She got into a feud with her neighbor. Her neighbor painted the other side a different color.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It went to court. My grandma lost, ripped the fence out and moved it. Been there for like 20 years.
Yeah.
That was in Noblesville. There used to be a white picket fence, and they changed the color on their house, and she painted it like a cedar red. And then they got into it, and then it became a privacy fence.
Good fence makes good neighbors.
While I'm scanning this, does anybody else have any concerns regarding our building and zoning?
I've been contacted by one of our residents about the autism clinic. They've installed a playground in the rear of that. From what the neighbors told me, the playground is cemented into the ground.
Yep.
It also has a mulch bed with a border around the mulch bed. And her biggest concern was that there is no fence there. And I don't see.
There is no requirement for that.
Yeah,
It's one of those, I heard it as a rumor because I've heard the same thing. There is no law that the playground has to be fenced in. And I heard that's why we have a fence around our playground, because it's law. It's not.
Yeah, Indiana, as far as I understand, don't actually really have standards for playgrounds. So people that do them in the state of Indiana, these professional companies, it sounds like they just kind of go by, there's kind of an industry standard that's kind of accepted more, on a national level. And they just kind of try to build according to that.
Yeah.
But you're kind of at unless there's something that's obviously unsafe in some way, I don't know that we'd have any kind of a.
Well, and it meets all we don't have an ordinance for it, but the only issue we could have, which zoning would apply, is if it was too close to the property line. But it's not even close. And, I heard about the mulch because it's over asphalt. Well, the company that did it actually put 3-inch thick foam pads down before the mulch. And
Right.
Probably to help their
I
insurance.
bet they spent some serious.
they spent some.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm sure their insurance carrier made sure that.
And I don't know that I know they put it near the
bottom.
back door
Those are not cheap.
on purpose. They may fence that in, but
I'm surprised they haven't.
they might, but they haven't talked to me about it. 'Cause it was funny, I couldn't figure out why, but when they seal coated that parking lot, they didn't do that section. I was like, but that was why, because of the playground.
Yeah, back several years ago, when I worked for Arcadia, there was a lawsuit where a lady named Kid, her kid fell off a swing set, broke her arm, and she's trying to sue that
They don't
park
have the
and
proper
stuff,
dates.
and, of course, that in turn was all over the news media, all these towns and cities were all concerned about their parks, and they had these seminars, and I ended up having to go to them, and there is no laws in the state of Indiana, but there is, recommendations on mulch, how deep, how far out and all that, but, how far apart the bars are on certain equipment, and
Right.
pinch points and all that, but it's not mandatory, it was all recommendations, and a lot of towns and cities took out the old teeter totters and all that stuff,
Right.
wasn't part of the recommendation, and started changing to the newer type of playground equipment, but, yeah, they haven't never come in and made it mandatory that there's any laws and rules for playground equipment on private property or
I bet they-
municipalities or anything, or businesses or any of that.
I will let her know that there's no requirement for a fence there.
I bet they spent over $30,000.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
I told her this, I already told her.
It's really
she-
nice.
that She was concerned about mulch and this and that, and it's like, yeah, mulch ain't gonna go nowhere, the problem, this is before they even had it set up, I said, more likely they're gonna put a border, they'll retain that and then hold it back, and I said, it gets a little damp, that mulch will get a little layer and it won't blow or anything, I said, it ain't gonna blow anyways, but then she started in, I told her that about it getting wet and starting to mold and this and that, and I didn't bother going to tell her the playground equipment's treated for that type of stuff. They don't have any playground mulch, and it's treated for mud and bugs and insects and all kinds of stuff before they send it out to these municipalities and businesses that have playground equipment. But I didn't get into that part. You see anything in the code enforcement part of the ordinance? Is there anything that you need to have an issue with or need changed or addressed?
No, so far, no. I think there's, as I kind of read through some of that stuff, maybe some stuff that needs to be cleaned up and or updated that hasn't been updated in the book that I have. So I'll put a list of those things together and we can talk about those. And
we can do those at the same time. If we decide to do these, we can do these
Right.
ordinances and do those all at
Right.
the same time and get that sent out to American Legal for a new clean ordinance book. But,
You know that mobile home that, it's empty up here? You know?
yes,
I was told the person who owns that mobile home is the guy who owns the mobile park. I don't know
No,
if
it's
that's
not.
true or not.
no.
No, it's not.
It's not?
Nope.
Okay, well,
Mike Lee owns that. It's not even part of the mobile home park.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
some people that's interested in buying it, but for whatever reason, it ain't happening.
Well,
Yeah. There was someone from the mobile home park mowing it, but then he that lives there, but then they weren't paying him. So he quit mowing it.
That place down here did an excellent job getting that one cleaned up.
which one's that?
Chicken house?
It's right there across from the basketball court.
Yeah, we're getting
Got
there.
a hold of the owner, selling it on contract. I went by there and it's amazing what little
Yeah.
extra work out there did. You've got the front end and the back side, that way you can see.
We cut down every one of them mulberry trees. I must have been 100.
We cut down all that under out in the front, cut it up somewhat and mowed and everything, and you can actually see through there.
Oh, I gotta go look.
Oh, I had to go by it twice. When I went by the front, I was like, man, I gotta go back by. Look, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I guess it would just be the heading. There's different headings in the sign section that say, this one might require a little bit more of a rewrite. It says, all signs require a permit unless otherwise specified. And it doesn't appear to be otherwise specified.
Yeah, I think there's a section about like campaign signs, garage sale signs.
Right, which that'd be like the temporary sign.
Yeah, under temporary, but no, under the permanent signs, there's no language, so it's like technically every time one changes,
Yeah,
it's supposed to have a
so
permit.
we need to add we need to otherwise specify, I guess.
Yeah, 'cause they shouldn't have to pay every time they change the advertisement, as long as the sign's not moving.
Yeah, same size,
Is there,
the same place.
is
not
there any
reconstructed.
language about keeping it in good repair?
There is, it looks like, where did it go? It said something about being safe, and
Yeah.
all signs need to be safe and not falling apart. Maintenance, all signs and components thereof should be kept in good repair and in safe, neat, clean, attractive condition. Failure to maintain the sign is determined by the planning commission or zoning administrator. A written notice will be given to the owner, business operator, or lessee of the property. 30 days shall be given to the owner, business operator, or lessee of the property to comply with the regulations. After 30 days, if the owner, business operator fails to comply, penalties shall be imposed according to Article 15. Maintenance sign.
Is there anything in there, it just piqued when you said that, is there any provision for the ordinance control officer to mandate those instead of the plan commission?
It would be me.
It says either or.
Yeah, it should
Yeah,
be
either
building
one.
commissioner. I don't know if we have specific language that says that the zoning administrator is the building commissioner, but that would make sense, because you'd be providing other notices and things like that anyway, a stop work or
Yeah.
anything like that, so. ordinance, 7.21. FN-01 subsection C.
That 42-inch fence, would that apply to a privacy fence?
No, well, you can't put a privacy fence in front of your house anyways. So our current ordinance says
You're talking about just the front of
your front yard. Privacy fence a 6-foot privacy fence can come out to the front of your living space, not your garage. So like houses got a garage sticking out up front, it'd be like the corner, like whatever, like say it was your living room. And then beyond that point, it's currently 36, but it could be
42.
42 is what I'd like it to be, just because of the standard fence size now.
Andy, is it true on all fences in the front of a residence? Not just picket, but let's say a chain link fence, for example, or something like that.
It's 36.
36.
Yeah.
I think front of the property is defined, as I recall, the corner of the house.
Yeah,
I
front.
think it
living
actually,
space.
I actually think it says, which this may be something we need to change, for some reason it's sticking in my mind that it said something about the widest point of the house or something like that.
Yeah, but in another part,
So do we have
in the zoning, in the other part of, there is a part in there that it's defined as the front,
Living quarter.
front living space. Yeah.
Is there
Cause
a grandfather clause in there for maybe a fence that was up prior to that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you remove it, then it's gone.
I understand.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But let's say somebody that built a fence in 1950 that.
Right.
Like the one across the street, yeah.
And then I
It's a
know
grandfather
somebody,
clause.
he got a variance across the street.
Sure.
But then I know, we have another house in town that has a picket fence that's tall, that's out near the front. They went through the BZA and got a variance on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is possible. I mean, if it was before there is a section in our ordinance about non-conforming, considered a non-conforming legal structure, but you can't alter it or replace it. You can maintain it. You can't if you take it out. I've had that argument many times. Well, there used to be a garage there.
Yeah, you gotta put
Yeah.
those in it.
Used to be.
I don't think I can remember all that you were involved in.
So it looks like the shed setback is something that's gonna have to be specifically addressed in each one of these residential standards. Because when you just look at accessory structure, there's definitions.
Oh yeah.
Permissible sizing in there as far as total permissible size based on the lot size, percentage of the lot coverage.
Well, and see what I didn't know if
Specific.
I didn't know if we could get, this would be a legal question to get around that, if we crafted an ordinance specifically for, a mini barn storage shed, whatever you wanna call it, of that size, that would apply to all of our zoning districts. You know,
If it's under this size.
under 144 square feet, not on a permanent
That's
foundation.
probably the easier way. to
Because you
address
don't,
this,
in our
because-
current ordinance, you don't even need a permit for a mini barn under 144 square feet. That's not on a permanent foundation.
R4, which most of ours are,
Almost the whole town is.
is 15, but like if it's an R3, it's 20.
We don't
It's
have
an
any
R2.
R3.
Do we have any R2s?
Nope. Got R5.
30.
We got four and five.
R5 is 5 feet,
Yeah, I know, because the lot's so small.
yeah,
That's why I'm saying it
so,
would be
Okay.
nice. Yeah, it would be nice to make it, yeah. It'd be nice to make it like that, but there's only,
3 or 4, right?
1, 2, 3. 3 lots, I think that's it.
Are we looking at, on the shed ordinance, anything bigger than 144 square feet, still set at 5 feet as long as it's on a temporary?
I'd say make it 15.
Anything under 144 is 5, and anything above, you gotta get
Variance.
You gotta keep it
not
up.
that you can't do it, you just have to get a variance to do it.
Yeah.
So, under 144 square feet, we'll just need to write some kind of an ordinance.
Not on a permanent foundation.
Any
Yeah,
accessory structure not on a permanent foundation, under 144 square feet will require no permit and may
we already have that part.
Just the setback.
It's just the setback that needs addressed.
Instead of
Setback
15.
would be
'Cause,
5 feet.
yeah,
Yeah.
rear setback, cause the side is already 5.
Right.
Or you could put rear or side yard setback.
Side yard. So we don't have any R2s or 3s.
Nope.
R1?
Nope.
No R1s either.
4 and 5. I mean, we've got provisions for them if the town ever expanded or there was some kind of a subdivision or something that was put in there, but we don't have any.
Okay.
Would you like to put that in the form of a
I
motion?
will start with the picket fence, or front yard fencing. So that would be in our zoning ordinance, 7.21, FN-01, subsection C. The motion would be to change the language for a maximum front fencing height of 36 inches to 42 inches.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that's that. Sheds. So the proposal would be since R5 already is 5 feet for both side and the rear, and R4 are the majority of our lots, we don't have 1s, 2s, or 3s. Would it sound reasonable to cross the bridge with those ones if we ever get there and just modify R4 to be well, it would need to specifically be for.
Yeah, I would just do
It needs to
it.
be
I'd do an
specific
ordinance that
for-
covered all of our zoning.
Okay,
Instead of,
that
yeah.
makes more sense.
Yeah. Then you wouldn't have
So-
to, it'd be a standalone ordinance, you wouldn't have to mess with it. If you ever
I
decided
think
you wanted to change it,
specifically,
you could.
specifically state some sort of a mini barn or shed
Under 144
under
feet.
144 square feet.
See, I think with the language, let me look at it here, it's in my thing. It says multi-purpose storage mini barns under 144 square feet.
Okay, so the motion would be to pass an ordinance allowing for all residential districts to have a, what is it,
Multi-purpose
multi-purpose
/ storage / mini barn under 144 square feet.
to have that.
144 feet, or
Minimum
144 square
setback for
feet
that
and
would
under,
be moved to
yeah, including,
Yeah, including 144 and under.
Correct.
including 144 and under.
Yeah.
Is that your motion, Marie?
I believe so.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, it's gotta be 144 square feet and under. So it includes that 144, so it's not anything less.
And then our final would be on
Sign ordinance.
a permanent sign.
I make a motion on permanent signs that they don't have to keep paying for a permit, just changing the advertisement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll figure out the process for doing that, I'm sure they'll.
Yeah,
I'm sure the town council will handle that, I think.
We'll have to figure out what the ordinance is gonna look like and get that passed, but, seems reasonable to me. All right, are there any other questions, concerns, comments? Go ahead and, adjourn this.
Do we want to set another meeting before we?
We should. And does this work for everybody doing it before council meeting like
You can
this?
even do them, every other week. Doesn't bother me. I don't think you gotta wait 3 months to do that.
Sure. We wanna do
What's the
just
month?
plan on doing like the,
First
at least for a
Tuesday
little
of the
while,
month,
we'll
or
do, yeah, the first meeting of the month.
First Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock.
Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
Yep.
Sounds good
So
to me.
our next planning commission meeting will be November 10th, 6 p.m. I get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everybody.